All right, guys, today we're going to talk about 3 common mistakes that you make when you're doing an oil service, and a couple of them can be real costly. Let's get into it. The things we're going to go over in this video are not just random things that just pulled out of nowhere. These are things that I have seen over 44 years of doing this, bringing a lot of new techs in and training them, having to break some habits. Some of these things we had to break them from doing. And also just, over the years of watching techs do things, right? And running into problems and taking things apart and seeing issues. All of these items I'm about to teach you to do are easy to do. And if you don't do them and you're not careful, I know it's an oil service and people sometimes just think, oh, it's just an oil service. But you have to be careful. I always tell the people that work for me is like, this is the most liability that we will have in a vehicle for the least amount of profit. So what I mean by that is the most exposure, because if we do something wrong, we could blow up an engine, and an oil service makes us very little money. So that's what I'm talking about there. Let's start with the oil filter, right? So just an oil filter, right? Simple little thing. You're gonna have 2 different styles of oil filter. You're gonna have a spin-on type. It's gonna have threads in here. You guys have seen us cut these open. Going to have an O-ring or a seal. It's not an O-ring, a square O-ring, but a seal here, okay? And then you also could potentially have a cartridge style filter. So this filter would be, a cartridge would go in here. So you're going to take this cap off and you would replace the cartridge. Now, they are not always, let's lay that over there.
And this is a 2024 Highlander.
This is a 24 Highlander and it has a spin-on filter. So don't think that these are gone. These are still modern vehicles.
Props to Toyota, by the way.
Yeah,
very
super easy to get to, right? Pull this little cover off, bam. Let's start with the downfall of these, right? First of all, this one is aluminum, or some material, probably aluminum, and it's got an O-ring on it. A lot of these are plastic, and we have seen people put these in and just tighten them down so tight that we've had to break them to get them off. Not uncommon at all. There is a torque spec for these. And you're going to want to follow the torque spec. Sometimes it's on it. See, that's this plug. But if you look in there, yeah. So this center plug, you can pull it out and actually drain the oil out of your filter housing before you pull this off. Now, some of these are sitting like this. So obviously it's not going to have that drain plug in it. But if it's upside down like that, it may have that drain plug in it. But you want to make sure that you are torquing them down to that proper torque specification, and put some oil on this O-ring. So you can just take some oil from up here, right? You're doing the, or you can use new oil, whatever. And all you're going to do is just take that and just get it all over that, right? It's going to help it when it goes in to not bind. I've seen people not lube them. They go to put them in. These get cut. That's oil pressure on that. And all of a sudden this thing will be, I've seen them come in spewing oil out of them. Somebody's like, I just did my oil change and now it's leaking. Yeah, it's spewing oil out of it, because just something as simple as just taking a little bit of oil so that it can just slide in nice and easy. And then, like I said, just torque it down properly so that you can get it off next time. And then if you remove this drain, make sure, usually your filter, if you buy a good quality filter, it's going to come with a new O-ring. Put the new O-ring on it. It's going to come with a new drain gasket here for this part.
And some of them might be wondering how you tighten that right there. That's where we'll have things in the description.
Yeah, there's little tools, adapters that you put on top. You see how that's got ears on it? Mm-hmm. So there's a tool you would put over that, and it would have like a 3/8 drive adapter on it, and then you just torque it down with a torque wrench. Pretty much everything that we're using here that we would use on doing an oil service is going to be in the description down below. You can purchase it on whatever sites down there, Amazon, lots of different places. All right, so that's number one. That's the cartridge style. Let's go to the spin-on style. What do we see going on with these? I can certainly remember these, especially early in my career. Whew. People would tighten these down so tight, and we've had to chisel them off. I remember when I worked at the Chevy dealer, we had to chisel them off all the time. What was that part number? 51060, I think it was. Anyway, it was common, and you had to cut the filter and then chisel this ring off. Anyway, the way you're going to not have to do that is, first, just like we did with this one, we took a little oil from up here. So let's get the new filter out. So here's our new filter. If it's got plastic wrap on it for some reason, don't take your finger and shove it down in there and peel the plastic wrap. We have seen the plastic be in there and then cause issues. So peel it from the outside. But no plastic wrap on wicks. We're going to take a little bit, like I said, I'm just dabbing that, and I'm just going to put a little thin film. Before you put this on, make sure that you look at the mounting flange right here. Look at this flange right here. Wipe it off, clean it off, and make sure that this seal is not stuck on that. That is not uncommon either, especially if somebody didn't lube this, or if the filter maybe isn't the best quality. That seal will stick to that flange. And here's what happens. You unscrew your filter, and boom, the filter drops it. You know, let's say if you're a DIYer, you're under the car, you got your pan of oil, it's draining out. You unscrew the filter, it's leaking, pops down in the fan. All right, filter's in the pan, usually upside down, sitting like that, right? You're not looking at it anymore, filter's off. And now that gasket's still up here. You take your new filter, you've put your oil on the seal, and then you come up here and you screw it on, and what you're doing is screwing the filter on top of that seal. You will not know it. Let me tell you when you're going to know it. When you start the engine up, hopefully it will blow out right then, and it will leak all over your garage floor. And if you're a shop, it's going to leak. It's going to go everywhere. It ain't going to be a tiny leak. And then you're going to shut it off quickly. Hopefully you're double checking your work and shut it off now, because you are pumping oil out of that engine. The worst time it can happen is if it makes it out of your shop or makes it out of the garage, and you're driving down the road, and you're not going to know it until the red oil light comes on, and you're going to be leaving a stream of oil down the road, and it could very, very quickly and easily blow an engine up. So something so simple as to just take your eyes, look up there. I just have a habit of just making sure I just touch it with my finger to know it's not there. Now I've got my gasket lubed a little bit, put it up on, screw it, make contact, and then just give it a little bit of turn there. You don't I'm not turning that, right? I'm just, just don't kill that thing. Just a little tiny bit, snug it down. It's kind of a feel thing.
It's not going to blow away.
It's not going to blow off of there. It's not going to vibrate. If anything, it might get a little tighter, but you're good. Now just wipe that down. Make sure you clean that, right? Anything you touch, clean it. Because when we're done, we're not going to put this shield back up. We're going to start this thing up, and we're going to look and see, does it have any kind of oil coming out of it? If it's already got a bunch of oil there because you didn't clean it, is it leaking, or is it because you didn't clean it? So just take a quick wipe. All right, that's our filter. Now we've got our filter. I know this sounds so easy, guys, but these mistakes, I'm telling you, can be costly. The filter's on. You're good. No issues there. Let's go to the drain plug.
These mistakes happen every single day.
I mean, they happen.
At shops and all over the country.
Yeah, they happen. We get vehicles
all
in
over
here
the world
all the time from shops that are like, this kind of stuff happens. Let me just say that. Let me just leave it at that. All right. You've pulled your drain plug out. You've let it drain. So now what do we need to do? Always, 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 always replace the drain plug gasket. There's so many different types. Let's walk over here real quick.
So while you're showing them that, this is another thing that we see a lot, where vehicles come in, they say they just had their oil service recently, maybe they're in for diagnostics with us, and they say there's oil leaking, and it's the drain plug that's leaking.
Simple
it just
little
had
drain
oil
plug.
service.
Yep.
Yes.
And here's why. There are lots of different drain plugs. This isn't even all of them at all, right? But different types of gaskets for different types of vehicles. These are a Chrysler insert. You've got GM's got inserts like that. Ford's got inserts like that. Here's some GM ones. GM's got a couple of different ones, right? So you've got lots of different types of gaskets to make sure this seals. You want the correct one. So we just pulled off one like this on that vehicle, a little smaller than that one. It is not the correct one for that vehicle, right? We're going to use the one that goes to it, which is this one, which we already have over there. We have a new one over there. This is the one we're going to use because that's what this vehicle uses. So you put a new gasket on it. Why are we putting a new gasket on it? Watch your head. Why are we putting a new gasket on it? These gaskets wear out. So this rubber, it's going to wear. It's going to tear and stuff. But a lot of times, let me just grab something real quick. This is a Honda. Okay, this is an aluminum gasket. It's one-time use, as all of them are. You wouldn't reuse a gasket on anything else. Why do we reuse them on a drain plug? This crushes down when you torque it down. I have seen these where they have been on the drain plug so tight, been used over and over and over. And what happens is we got to tighten it a little tighter and a little tighter and a little tighter every time to get it to not leak. Okay, that we've had to cut these things off with a pair of side cutters. Just sit there and cut and cut and cut to get this thing off the drain plug. Sometimes we just replace the drain plug because it's like, man, it's less money to replace the drain plug. So when you go to buy your stuff, when you go to buy your filter and your oil or whatever it may be, or if you're at a shop, you probably have a tray like that. If not, start investing in it and get you a gasket, right? All right. What happens when we don't get the gasket? One of two things is going to happen. Yeah, it doesn't come in the filter.
Some of them do, yeah.
Some of them, especially when it's a cartridge filter, some of them will come with a new drain plug gasket. Yeah. So just look in the filter kit before you buy the gasket. I mean, these are dirt cheap. What can happen is if we don't replace the gasket, one, we can get a leak. Two, we can try to tighten it down too tight, and then we strip the pan. Now this pan, you can see, not the most difficult pan. This is a lower pan. The lower oil pan's not difficult, right? But if you strip this out, we're probably going to be replacing the pan. Maybe you can tap it, maybe you can, but there's not a whole lot in here to tap anymore, not like the old days. So this pan might not be too labor intensive, but do we want to put an oil pan on the car? Because we didn't want to buy a drain plug gasket? Again, we see this all the time. And when you start getting into some European vehicles and some aluminum pans that are integral part of the engine, and that's not just European vehicles, this could be on lots of different vehicles.
And the Europeans are notorious for having problems with this too.
Yes. Now all of a sudden you could be looking at, easily into $2,000 or $2,500, $2,000, $2,500 to replace an oil pan just because of a gasket, right? So, and there are some solutions that we have for some of them, but sometimes you can't do it. Sometimes you're replacing the pan. So get a new gasket and put it on there. So do you guys, I'm sure you know, leave a comment real quick before I even do it. I'm sure you know what the next thing I'm going to do is. But leave a comment down there, pause the video, because I just told you we don't want to over tighten it because we have a old gasket on it. We want it to be the right torque. So look up the torque. This one is 30 foot-pounds. Torque wrench is set to 30 foot-pounds. And then just like we've told you before on wheel torque and things like that, nice and slow, nice and easy. It's going to crush the gasket down. And there it is. It's torqued. If it leaks now, there's a problem with the gasket. Don't tighten it anymore. That's the proper torque for that bolt. It should not leak. If you've got a good gasket on it and you've got it properly torqued, then we're good there. Those under here, the two things, the filters, right? The extra gasket on the filter, the O-ring not getting lubed, getting nicked, something there, and that drain plug have cost people more engines than you could ever possibly imagine. So those couple things right there, those are the costly ones.
And even just, to touch on the drain plug aspect here, if you skip that step of torquing and then you've got to get it back in the shop, then, because some might say, well, this takes too much time for me to hand torque the drain plug, stuff like that. If you got to bring it back in and then you got to fix it, literally one vehicle, yeah. You've now cost all the time that you could have just spent doing it the right way.
Let me tell you the costly thing is when the vehicle leaves your shop, goes somewhere else, and they're like, the oil drain plug's leaking. They try to take it out. You've tightened it too tight. They try to get it out of there and it strips the drain pan, and they're like, oil pan, and they're like, it's going to have a pan in it.
Yeah.
And then you're getting a phone call saying, I've got to put a pan on this thing. Yeah, maybe you can get it back over to the shop. Maybe you can take care of it, whatever it might be, but you don't want to have that. If you torque it and you've done it properly, then do that. Now, a lot of places will put a little, witness mark on here, like we'll put some paint or something on there, but we don't do that. We're good with that, but some people do.
Yeah, and if you're a DIY, then if you're a DIYer, then you don't want to climb back under your vehicle either. So
Yeah, and guess what? Who's going to be the one to fix that one? Is you are, or you're going to pay a shop to fix it, because some of those can be extremely difficult to do. I can't even begin to tell you. All right, so we're done under here. Everything's wiped down. Everything's clean.
And we use brake clean on this too.
Yeah, we'll shoot a little brake clean up here, clean that up.
Don't gotta go crazy, guys. With the brake clean.
I mean, you can see right now, really.
It's a joke.
I've got it.
It's an inside joke that texts you with shop owners.
Oh, I know. They like to drink the stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, on this one, we don't really need any brake clean. It's clean. I wiped it down good. We still got the bonus tip at the end, but we're going to the third thing that we see. It's going to make your life easier.
We got to tease you guys so you get all the way.
Got to have a little tease.
Yeah.
You want to have some type of a reminder in the vehicle as to when is your next oil service due. Life gets busy. So you're a DIYer, you change your oil, you think you can remember the miles, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, when did I exactly do that? Just get yourself, usually the parts stores will sell stickers. Now it doesn't have to be some fancy sticker like this, right? It can be, something that you hand write. You'll buy, if you buy the oil and the filter from them, they usually have a little roll of stickers there. They can give you a couple of them. And just write on there and put it up there so you can see it, so it keeps it in front of you. The other thing is, and if you're a professional shop doing this and you're putting stickers up, let me tell you, the only two things that people see when you do an oil service is the oil sticker and the next thing we're about to talk about. Please put the oil sticker on there, right? I am very, very, very picky about that. I don't want that thing just stuck up there, crooked, all that. Put it up there nice and clean, nice and straight, okay? And make sure it's going to stay. If you just, I can't tell you how many of those things I've seen half fallen off. Now, there's some companies that use these stickers that you got to scrape them off, right? We won't talk about them, but at least it stays on there. And then I've seen people that company sticker will be up there and they'll just put their sticker on top of it. Just clean it off, guys. Show a little professionalism. I know it's an oil service, but let's be professional about what we're doing.
Pride.
Have pride in your work, craftsmanship. So we're going to do that. We're going to have that nice and straight. Now the next thing, reset the reminder and make sure you're looking up. So if you're a DIYer, you might have to find this online somewhere or maybe in your owner's manual. Most owner's manual will have this. How do you reset it? And make sure you're getting all of the resets. I'm going to give you an example. On my Lexus, there's 2 resets. There's one for the light on the dash and there's one for the actual heads-up system or the informational display system over here. So make sure you're resetting them both, because resetting that one doesn't do anything to that one, and resetting that one doesn't do anything to that one. Am I telling you that's the best system in the whole wide world? No, but it is what it is that's in that car. If you're a professional, like I just said, the vehicle owner sees this sticker, and if that light pops on because you forgot to reset it, guess what? A lot of times they don't think you changed the oil, because a lot of people don't even know. They just think that the light is automatically somehow connected to the oil.
And they think shops are out to get them already.
And a lot of times they think that, right? So they think, oh, my light came on, they didn't change my oil. And you could talk to your blue in the face to some people and say, no, we changed your oil, we just forgot to reset the light. Well, if you change the oil, the light should reset. See, that's what a lot of people think. So just reset that light. You should have a checklist of the things that you're going to do, even as a professional shop. I know it's an oil service. Have a checklist of the things you're going to do and make sure you go down that list and don't skip anything. Because it's easy when you're doing something that's a simple repair or a simple maintenance item to overlook stuff.
And also when you're resetting the light, you don't have to see it actually, it doesn't have to be popped up at the time.
Oh no. Yeah.
So you have to reset it.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes are made where they don't see it, that it's actually showing on the dash.
That's a good call.
And they don't reset it. So you still have to reset it even if it's not.
We recommend 5,000 mile oil services, right? So most cars today are going to have a longer interval than that. And so if it's 7,500 miles and you reset it, the client should never see the light, should never come on, because they're going to do the oil services more often than what that light's set up for. Now again, like in my car, I can actually go in and set up to the interval that I want it to set to. So I set mine to where it will come on at 5,000 miles. And here's a little, what do they call these things? Top tips? Whatever they are, top tip.
I guess another bonus tip.
Top tip. This is the
spontaneous.
This is a spontaneous bonus tip. What I've done on my cars is I've incrementally done the oil services at times to get them as close as possible. So now my oil services are due at 5,000 miles, and that's always going to come up on a number that's going to be like 45,000 miles on the odometer, 50,000 miles on the odometer, 60 or 55,000, 60,000, 60, you get it, right? So I've just kind of worked my oil changes to where it comes out on that on both cars. So I'm not guessing when my oil services are due. If it hits a 5 number, I know that I'm due for an oil service. Final bonus tip. Most of the time, your oil spec will be available somewhere on the car. Like right here is 020, or it will be on the cap, written on the cap somewhere. I would recommend that you do look that up. Yes, you can do it in your owner's manual. Some vehicle manufacturers do change that. It does not happen very often. But there are occasions where the vehicle manufacturer will change the oil spec for an engine for some reason that, you know, they've had issues. So they'll do a TSB, so make sure you're looking that up online. There'll usually be information online pretty easily. The manufacturer wants that easily accessible, so you should be able to find that and with just a quick search and say what oil goes in my car. But generally speaking, the one that's either on the sticker or on the cap is that's good. Whoa, another little spontaneous tip. Glad I thought of this one real quick. A lot of times, especially on high-end vehicles, you'll see another sticker here, and it might say, I don't even remember what they say now, like oil service recommended Mobil 1, recommended Pennzoil, recommended whatever, right?
BMWs have that.
A lot of vehicles have that. Mercedes does that a lot. All right. Doesn't mean you have to use that brand in that car. What that is there's nothing wrong with that. It's a marketing thing for the oil company. So the oil company has got with the vehicle manufacturer and said, we will supply you oil at some type of a rate, right? That's probably a little discounted. They're already getting it obviously cheaper than we can ever buy it. But they're going to give them a little extra deal if they'll agree to put a sticker under there, because what's going to happen? Well, if there's a sticker under there, a lot of people say, well, I got to have that kind of oil in my car, right? And so there's nothing wrong with that. The oil manufacturers just know if that sticker's there, they're probably going to sell more oil.
Yep.
So,
and with the 0W20, just back to that for a second, make sure you get the right 0W20.
There's a video on that.
Because, yeah, we did a video on that, right? There's 0W20 European. When you go in there, take a couple minutes, make sure you get the right stuff.
Yep. And then I would highly recommend personally, once you pick an oil that you like and that you're easily gettable in your market, just stick with it. Final thing that you're going to want to do is start the vehicle up, let it run for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, let the oil circulate and percolate through the engine, shut it off, let it sit for about a minute, about 60 seconds, then check your oil and see if it's on the full mark. If you just check that oil really fast, you might think it's low because it hasn't had a chance to drain down. It should drain down fairly quickly, but just make sure you're giving it about a minute to drain there, and then check your oil and you should be good to go.
I think it's funny that this was 3 tips and it kind of turned into
like half a dozen.
Tips. Yeah. All right. Close this out.
You see how we don't script these things, guys. We get an idea and we want to share it with you, and then we just kind of go with it. So appreciate you guys watching. You know what to do. If you like that kind of style of video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Have you run into any other issues with doing oil service and stuff like that we left out? Put them in the comment. People will read them. We will read them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.